brings his tough-as-nails attitude and championship belt into the ring against knockout artist Ernesto Zepeda for the NABF Super Featherweight title. What a boxing adventure! The NABF Super Featherweight Championship and...
It's our main event. Then we got an NABF Super Featherweight Championship bout, Ernesto Zepeda and Justin Juco. So a pretty good double dip here tonight in Indio. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins once more with my partner, Rich Murata. And Rich, we should say, first of all, we thought we were going to be looking tonight at the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship. Justin Juco was going to fight Stevie Forbes, but Forbes came up with a back injury last week.
Right, and it was very late notice. Just on Thursday, he pulled out of this fight. So it was just a very short notice. Forbes with the bad back, and that meant there had to be a replacement. They found Ernesto Zepeda, a very good fighter who's had a number of minor championships and a very good record and a big knockout punch. So under the circumstances, it's about as best I think that they could do.
Yeah, I think it's a quality replacement, actually. Hector Camacho Jr., of course, is going to be the guy in the spotlight. He seeks this junior lightweight championship that we had hoped for. Ernesto Zepeda and Justin Juco. But I'll tell you what, Rich, that 130-pound division is one of the toughest in boxing, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's tremendous. It's very, very talented. If you take a look really from top to bottom, especially at the championship level, of course, there's some tremendous champions in the 130-pound class because you've got Floyd Mayweather, who's an absolute superstar. There's no getting around it. But Casimir and Freitas, they're both undefeated. They're in a collision course. Stevie Forbes, he's definitely developing. Jesus Chavez must be considered. He's going to fight Mayweather later in the year. And I put Justin Juco then in the next spot, basically. So Juco, because of his last fight, I think he's shown us all that he's still got plenty left.
And he's got to be a hungry fighter, no question about that. But he's also in a situation where he can't look by Zepeda because Zepeda is a guy that does have some pop.
Yeah, Juco may be a hungry fighter, but he better not let down here tonight because Zepeda is a guy who does have a very good record. He's a guy who can crack with either hand. You take a look at those 26 wins, but look at the KO column. 21 of those victories have come by way of knockout. He's beaten some good fighters. We mentioned earlier he's a guy who took Stevie Forbes the distance, not only the distance, but a very close fight, lost a majority decision.
All right, let's talk about Justin Juco. In his last fight, very impressive, I thought. And again, giving every indication that this guy is not all done dancing yet.
No, absolutely not. However, his focus must be strong for this fight. Getting over the fact that he's not fighting Steve Forbes here, he must go into this fight and still show the same kind of hunger that he showed against Antonio Ramirez in his last fight. I thought that was Juco's best fight in years. You see that outstanding record of 35-4. Against Ramirez, I thought he just had a scintillating evening. He dominated all the way. This was a pick and fight. But see that right hand? He just could not miss with that right hand. He spotted the weakness. Look at it land. Now watch for a short, quick, compact right there. And you see Ramirez go down for the second time in the fight. It was just too much. It was Juco's night because of that right hand. He fought really a scintillating performance that night, and if he has that kind of performance in him here this evening, then they're not going to be able to keep that world title shot away from him anymore.
You know, there are a couple of other factors to be considered here tonight, too. First of all, this ring behind us is very small.
Right.
We would estimate maybe 15 feet or so. They tell us it's 18, but I'm not too sure about that. It is an outdoor facility, so they have to contend with the elements here. And, of course, the other thing is that as it gets later, the sun gets lower. That could be a real problem. With more on that, let's go to Sean O'Grady. Sean, tough situation for these guys tonight.
Oh, Barry, it is a tough situation fighting in the desert. You can see the temperature gauge around about 100 degrees, and it is extremely hot and very dry here. What that's going to do to a fighter is it's going to dry his skin out, make him more prone to cuts. We'll see some nosebleeds tonight, maybe some cuts around the mouth. What the trainers must do is be cognizant of that and make sure that they replenish the fighters with a lot of water between rounds. Also, it's very dry here, so you get a lot of cuts with that. Thing that's going to be most prevalent tonight, though, is that setting sun. As we get later in the night, the sun is going to be in your opponent's eyes. Now, what you're trained to do as a professional fighter, keep your back to the sun. That way you know your opponent's looking at it. When he's squinting, he's not focusing on you, and you can pop him one clear shot. A lot of things to be cognizant of tonight for us. Us, too. It's very hot here. We need to drink a lot of water. How about you guys? I think the biggest problem for Rich is going to be his makeup may run.
Yeah, I think so, too. I have all those things, too. You know, I mean, my throat's dry already, and I'm going to need the water, as you said. My skin already cracked. That's why I look as old as I do. Justin Juco's not going to have those kind of problems, though. He looks really ready to fight. Let's take a look at the numbers, see how these two match up with one another. Zepeda actually is 4 years the junior of Juco. They both have the same reach. Zepeda a couple of inches taller than Juco, but not really a big difference. Both guys have been in there with some pretty good opponents. This may be a very good fight. Let's get on with it with the ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr. Jimmy?
Ladies, 12 rounds of boxing for the NABF Super Featherweight Championship. Introducing to you first, the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing gray trunks with black trim. Hailing from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. He weighed in at 133 pounds. His record, 26 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws, with 21 knockouts. Here is the NABF number 4 ranked contender, the hard-hitting Ernesto Baby Zepeda. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, this 12-round championship bout, is the defending champion, entering the ring wearing black trunks with tiger trim, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Uganda. He weighed in at a ready 130 pounds even. His record stands at 35 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, with 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the NABF Super Featherweight Champion, known as the Ugandan Destroyer, introducing Justin Juco. Once again, Robert Bird, our referee in charge, now to give instructions.
Gentlemen, I gave you instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to tell you now is when I tell you stop, stop whatever you're doing. When I tell you to break, I want a clean break. Protect yourselves at all times, obey my commands at all times. Let's do it.
Robert Bird with the directions to the fighters. Here are the options. Set to go, round number 1. Zepeda has fought fairly recently, actually. Fought a little less than a month ago down in Chihuahua, Mexico. Didn't fight a lot, fought 1 round. Got a guy by the name of Arturo Ocampo out of there.
Yeah, he's won 15 out of his last 18 fights. He's beaten people like Ernest Coffey, who he TKO'd, the former African champion, in 5 rounds. He TKO'd Daryl Pinkney, a guy who's had a varied career, but who has come up with big victories at times. He also fought Antonio Ramirez. The last fight, we showed you highlights of that last Juco fight against Antonio Ramirez. Zepeda fought Ramirez, had Ramirez down twice in that fight and won every round, the first 3 rounds, and then in the 4th round he was stopped himself in a shocking turn of events. It was a fight in which he was completely controlling. But he has the ability, and he certainly has the punch, Barry, to make it uncomfortable for anybody.
Yeah, I think he does too, and I think if Juco takes him even the slightest bit lightly, he could have a problem. Remember, this is a 12-round championship fight.
Juco had world title shots, and I thought accorded himself very well against Floyd Mayweather and against Diego Corrales. He was stopped late in the fight in both of those, but he certainly made it uncomfortable for both of those guys, especially Corrales, whose face he puffed up and who he seemingly landed a number of real clean shots on.
Now, one of the downsides of Zepeda is that he is prone to cut, and that could be a problem for him. And again, remember, Sean O'Grady talked about the dry conditions here could become a factor. Now, that said, Juco himself, on occasion, has been known to wear down at the end of fights.
As he did in both those title fights. That was not the case with Ramirez. He just kept getting better every round. And I'd have to tell you, having seen Juco a number of times, that was the best I've ever seen, Justin. He's backing off. He's sizing up, Juco is sizing up Zepeda in round 1.
He's trying to work the jab, cut the ring on him. Zepeda trying to be the aggressor. Largely a feeling out round, though, as you said, Rich.
And Zepeda trying to push Juco back with the jab. Zepeda not real quick with his hands. Juco will have the edge in hand speed. Zepeda taking the play away from Juco here in round 1. But, you know, I just think that's more or less Juco allowing him to do that here in round 1. This looks like a real study hall period for Juco.
Well, a rather slow first round, but as you said, Zepeda a little bit more the aggressor. And we'll remind you that Fight Time on Fox Sports Net is brought.
There's Ernesto Zepeda, who took this fight on just a couple of days' notice, coming in here in a tough situation. That makes it hard for him, but he's a quality fighter. He's faced a very good competition. In fact, he's faced the world champion, as we mentioned, Forbes. And he's a guy who likes to come forward, but he does have skills, and I think he displayed both of those aspects in round number one. Across the ring from him, of course, is Justin Juco, the Ugandan destroyer. A very accurate, sharp puncher. He likes to put his punches together. His last fight showed that he can still bang with the very best. He was excellent in that bout with Ramirez, and he has fought the very best along the way with Mayweather and Corrales.
Round number 2 now. Sean O'Grady joins us. Sean, we thought the first round largely feeling out round.
Yeah, you know what? Justin Juco kind of took a step back and allowed for Zepeda to get his combinations off. But I'll tell you something. Justin has got to be careful because when he moves to his left, he throws his chin up in the air, exposing his chin. If Zepeda can see that, he can land with that powerful left hook. Zepeda says his best punch is the left hook. He has a good, effective right hand, too. So, very effective young fighter. Nice jab, good balance from Ernesto Zepeda. 26-5-2 with 21 KOs, 80% knockouts for Zepeda. Very dangerous fighter.
Juco is not getting off here early. And Zepeda now in this round is becoming even a little bit more aggressive and taking it to Juco. And Juco's going to have to start up here. Juco, by way of skills, experience, and what they've accomplished in their careers, should win this fight. However, this fight is a very mental fight and a very emotional fight for Juco because of the fact that he lost out on a world title opportunity. How much of a letdown is it? How seriously is he taking his opponent? How lethargic is he going to be in the ring? So far, very lethargic. He's not doing anything.
And the guy he was going to fight, Steve Forbes, fights a very different style from Zepeda, and he of course was in training for Forbes until just about 4 days ago.
Very dangerous fight for Juco. Also, Zepeda knows this atmosphere. He's used to fighting this kind of climate. The heat, the sun in your background. He's used to fighting outdoor. The sweat. He loves this heat. It is his ally.
Zepeda slipped the right hand in there. That was very close. It just missed. There's a good right hand. Knocked Juco backward.
Through 2 rounds, Juco has not been the fighter he was against Antonio Ramirez.
How much fire is there from Juco?
Oh,
nice
big right hand.
You can see Zepeda starting to get into swings, and a right hand drops him.
Wow.
You can see it coming, Barry. It's been setting up for 2 rounds. Juco so far has had nothing in there. He is totally lackadaisical in this fight, and Zepeda's making him pay for it.
And Juco is still a little wobbly here. Remember, you can't be saved by the bell. Left hand. It won't take a lot here. Right hand sends him backward again. Still plenty of time. 15 seconds left.
And a huge opportunity for Zepeda. Can he clean up?
And you can see Juco backing up. Juco's legs are still not there.
He's hurt.
Zepeda ran into one right there, right near the end of the round. But Justin Juco was really made to pay for his laziness in the round in round 2.
Juco was headed for a neutral corner. And he's still very wobbly.
If you get knocked out and you don't go down, sometimes you lose your direction. He went to the neutral corner because he thought that was his corner.
Juco had done nothing. We had talked about that just moments before. He wasn't getting started. He wasn't getting off. And Zepeda really made him pay. You see that scintillating right hand. Down goes Juco. That is a solid knockdown. No flash knockdown here, folks. Right off of his feet. A beautiful right hand shot. Now from our overhead view, take a look at this. You're going to see this punch perfectly. Here it comes. Thrown right from the shoulder. A great shot by Ernesto Zepeda.
He had landed that shot twice earlier in that round, but then when he connected, down the canvas went Juco.
There was one time, and I think I mentioned it, that he just missed with that shot. It was there. He
Times
just
earlier.
missed it. In the corner of Zepeda, looking very cool. And I'm not sure Juco is all the way back yet.
Well, he's going to have to get himself together.
I think we'll get a real clue when he gets up off that stool and walks to the center of the ring.
Because he's going to have to start fighting. He just is not the same guy we saw in San Antonio when he fought Ramirez.
But I got to take my time. I got to box you right now. Okay. Use my legs for a while.
That was a 90-second break. It's supposed to be a 1-minute break, and what an edge that is to Juco. That's huge. That's a real error on the part of the timekeeper here. Juco still got wobbly legs. His legs still don't look good to me, Rich.
Yeah, and they were telling him just box and take his time in this round. So this is going to be a round where he's just going to try to collect himself and get through.
He's still right hand and wobbled it.
You're right, he's wobbling. Very, you know, I'm telling you, I talked to Juco in Las Vegas, and he was so excited about this fight. He assured me that he was going to win the fight. He was so enthused by his performance against Ramirez and the fight not being a title fight here today. I'm sure there was a tremendous emotional letdown, and I don't mean to take anything away from Zepeda, but Juco's just not there.
No.
He is not there.
But you know what surprises me, Rich? You and I can see that Juco is on wobbly legs. Zepeda's not taking advantage of this at all. I mean, I think he's got to be all over him right now and not let him recover.
Zepeda, I think, is aware that Juco is a veteran who knows what he's doing in there, and I think he's a little wary about coming in really strong and letting all of his guns go.
Let's see, that jab knocked Juco backward.
But he's still pushing Juco back with the jab. Gosh, Juco was so accurate against Ramirez, and his punches short and not wild the way they are here today.
Yeah, he's still not himself. That knocked him backward again.
I mean, this is truly shocking.
Juco is still in big trouble. I mean, his legs have completely betrayed him. And it won't take a lot for him to get whacked out.
I mean, not only is this not the Juco who fought Ramirez, I mean, this is not the Juco who lost the title shots against Corrales and Mayweather. He fought them much better than he's fighting here today. He put on a much greater performances than he is putting on here today. Although now he's trying to punch back a little.
Yeah. But it's his legs that are the problem, but he can't get his legs set under those punches either. He's lunging.
Now, they may never be all the way right in this fight, Barry. He may just have to fight through them.
You can see him dancing, trying to get some life into his legs. I'm just not convinced Zepeda is taking advantage the way he probably should.
Stay off the rope, baby.
Dropped him again. Right hand and a left hand behind him.
The short left to knock him down. Still, the legs just completely gone from that overhand right that he took in the previous round. And on top of everything, now Juco is falling way behind on point.
Yeah, he is. That'll be 2 10-8 rounds in a row, and down he goes again. And then he bounces back up.
Juco claiming he was tripped there and not knocked down.
7, 8, okay?
And that's it. Huge for Zepeda.
Another tremendous round for Zepeda, who has been patient and poised. There's that short little left. What a beautiful punch that is, Barry. It only traveled about 6 inches. Now here, Juco claims he was tripped. Take a look at the feet. Watch the feet. You see him step on his toe there, but watch. Did you see that? Right there is where the feet got tangled a little, a punch there, but he may have gone down anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Yes, he did get stepped on, but there was a punch, and I think that also had to do with it.
Walking into the shot. Hands high, okay? Okay?
It was a great shot from up above. You could see the feet and what happened there. But nonetheless, Juco is just not the same fighter. He's just elsewhere. I can't recall seeing a fighter come off a winning effort and change so drastically, perhaps since Gabe Ruelas when he fought Azuma Nelson when he lost the title after he had defeated the ill-fated Jimmy Garcia. And ironically, that was in this very same ring here at Fantasy Springs when all of a sudden Gabe Ruelas looked like he could do nothing against Azuma Nelson.
Let's go into the corner now of Justin Juco with Sean O'Grady. Sean?
Barry, I'm over here with Kenny Crooms, lead trainer. Kenny, what do you see?
Well, right now, everything he's touching Juco with is hurting. Juco's in trouble and is not recovering, right?
He's staggering here. Is that because of this heat?
No, I don't think it's because
What
of
is
heat.
it because of?
Well, he's got hit. And that's what it appears to be.
That is one thing, yeah. What are you telling him between rounds?
Well, I'm telling him to keep his back off the rope, stand in the center of the ring, and let's box this guy for a round. Let's try to find his legs and walk him into the shot. He's countering what Juco's doing. Juco's not dictating the tempo, really. He's dictating the tempo. He's in control. Now Juco's trying to counter his shots.
At this point, you got to get Juco back into this fight, right?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, and that's what you're trying to do.
Right, that's what we're trying to do.
That's it from Kenny Crooms. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
You got to
Kenny
take your time.
Kenny does know what he's doing, and he's giving his fighter the right advice, I believe, but his fighter's legs are just not responding. And you talked about the fact that he's losing so many points here. 6-point edge because the 2 knockdowns, you make it a 10-7 round.
Now, the judges, of course, don't necessarily have to make it a 10-7. They may very well have scored that last round 10-8. But I've had Zepeda winning every round 10-9, 10-8, and 10-7. So it's been just getting progressively worse on my scorecard for Juco.
I have the same card. That was a right hand for Juco. Zepeda left himself open for it.
Yeah, I think Juco is fighting a little better. He's still wobbly. His legs are still rubbery and definitely not there, but he's fighting a little better here in this round. He is a warrior, Barry. I mean, his fights against Mayweather and Corrales, he showed great heart, tremendous character in those fights, and he's not just going to quit here in this fight.
Sean O'Grady's back with us now. Sean, I thought Juco's corner certainly with the right advice.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? There's experience over there in that corner, and I think Justin is relying on them to guide him through this difficult period of this fight. That's what you have to do when you're wobbly like that. You're on shaky sticks. Your cobwebs in your head. You have to rely on your trainers to guide you through that portion of the fight until you retain everything. Justin Juco, wow, what a warrior, you know.
Combination again by Zepeda.
Zepeda, look how much bigger physically Zepeda looks than Juco. Both of them weigh the same.
Juco having a better round here.
Yes. He's loosened up a little bit. He's getting into the fight now.
Starting to get his jab working a little bit.
Jab works, everything else.
Meanwhile, we start round 5 here. A little better round in round 4 for Juco, but it's a long way back.
Well, you know, fortunately for him, Barry, is the fact that it is a long fight. Now, this is a 12-round fight, not a 10-rounder. So Juco has a couple of extra rounds if this thing does go a long way to get himself back in terms of getting a decision. Even though he's fallen way behind, he's not out of the game insofar as a decision is concerned here because if it's a 12-round distance, not a 10.
And there he goes down with a right hand again, and another flush right hand. The fight is over. And there was nothing fluke about it.
Well, we've just seen a tremendous, shocking upset. Although we told you before that Zepeda was an excellent substitute, as good as you could find, and especially under this situation, and had a big punch which made him dangerous at any time.
Yeah, there was, and as we said, I mean, that was not a fluke in the least, Sean.
Big upset. Wow, big power. You know, Zepeda weighed in a little bit more than Juco, and because of that, cannot win the title tonight, the NABF interim title. But he has certainly showed that he's a force. See how this heat just makes your eyes swell up. And there's a look at Juco. Seems to be all right. He's up talking now. For Zepeda, what an exciting win for him.
Can you imagine Justin Juco as you see him go down here for the last time? Here's a guy who was supposed to be, again, a good little concise punch inside. Zepeda did a good job of using short punches inside. I'm very impressed. Look at, man, that is quick and short. Again, a 6-inch punch.
Real succinct in his shots.
Right.
Ernesto found out last Thursday he was going to fight against Juco.
And he made the best of it. A knockout winner over a would-be champion. Knocks out Justin Juco. We make it official with Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 48 seconds in round number 5. Our referee in charge, Robert Bird, stops the contest. The winner by way of knockout, the hard-hitting Ernesto Baby Zepeda.
Well, Zepeda with a very impressive win, I think, guys.
Let me tell you something. He beat him far more decisively than did either Floyd Mayweather or Diego Corrales, and that is a surprise.
Well, isn't it interesting? I mean, we showed you that list that you made of the top 130 pounders. Juco's name was on it. Maybe we might have to add another name to that list. We're coming back.
Fights presented by Miller High Life. Start off with lightweights. Rocky Cassiani and Ernesto Zepeda will square off. Ernesto Zepeda is 24 years of age, weighed in at 133 pounds, 29-5-2, 24 knockouts. Had 7 weeks to get ready for this fight. His last 5 opponents, a win percentage of 62%. He was knocked out by Antonio Ramirez back in October of last year. Cut left eyebrow, the key in that fight. Good win against Justin Juco. 31-year-old Rocky Cassiani is from Colombia, weighed in at 133 pounds. His record 19-8-1, 15 knockouts. Only his second fight here in 2001. Has lost 3 of his last 5, although he's been in against pretty good competition in his career. So those are the combatants in our first bout of the evening. And as they come to the center of the ring with referee Tom Katsoulides, unified rules will be used for tonight's bout throughout the. And there is Rocky Cassiani.
What's up?
Took on Wilfredo Vasquez back in 1997 for the WBA Featherweight Championship. Lost a 12-round decision, although he did have the champion down in round number 10. And we are set for the start of the action tonight. Zepeda and Cassiani.
On paper, it looks to be a pretty even matchup.
Cassiani has fluctuated between 126 pounds and 135 pounds. Throughout his career, he says he'll go where the best opportunity sits. Zepeda with the height advantage. See if he can control things with his jab.
Both these fighters have fought some very good fighters on their resume.
Teddy Zepeda had that win against Justin Juco. Zepeda was a late sub for IBF junior lightweight champ Steve Forbes. Zepeda won that bout. He had lost to Forbes in June of last year. He lost a 10-round majority decision. Had to deal with some cuts, so he would like another shot at Forbes, especially now that Forbes holds belt.
Both guys being very respectful, maybe a little too much early on, feeling each other out. As we mentioned, it looks to be an even matchup on paper.
Right, back clean. All the way.
Zepeda also has a win against Darryl Pinkney. Came in April of 1999. He stopped him in the 4th round, former NABF champ.
The range here, Zepeda, a little taller, a little longer with those arms. You would think that when he gets back to the corner after this round, he gets some advice to start trying to dominate with that left jab. You have an old saying in boxing, the trainers do. You can't find anything else. If you're in doubt, use your jab.
23 of Zepeda's 24 knockouts have come within the first 4 rounds. Cassiani reaching there.
And that's what you would want Zepeda to try to make Cassiani do, being the taller man. Make the shorter man be your foil. Take chances. Set up counters. And to set that up, again, that left jab would be a big part of it.
At the final 10 seconds of this first round, Rocky Cassiani, Ernesto Zepeda. This is a 10-round lightweight bout between two guys who are evenly matched. There's the bell to end round number 1. Well, coming up, right now we're underway with round number 2 between Rocky Cassiani in the white and Ernesto Zepeda in the yellow. Feeling out process in that first round. Slight edge and punches connected by Zepeda. nothing drastic.
As I alluded to early in the first round, the man with the jab may be the man who takes control of this chess match when there's nothing much else available. The jab can usually be the difference.
In that first round, we talked about the jabs. Cassiani landed 1 of 24. Zepeda 6 of 29. Saul Avila. Jack Overmeyer at the controls tonight.
Just noticed that Cassiani likes to throw that wide left hook. Likes to jump in with it a little bit. Well, one of two things are going to happen. I say it right now. He's going to catch the taller Zepeda standing straight up, pulling back. Or Zepeda's going to step in with a right hand and beat that wide left hook, Cassiani. It's going to be interesting. There is that right hand in between that left hook. Let's see which wins.
Cassiani in the white trunks told us that says this fight is going to end in a knockout. Either I'm going to get him or he's going to get me.
Well, Zepeda gets him, being, of course, Cassiani. I think he's going to get him with that right hand made available with the spots when that wide left hook comes from Cassiani.
Zepeda that time used the left hook to get Cassiani. Now he backs him up with a jab.
Cassiani has problems playing with fire. Everything he throws is wide, and everything Zepeda's throwing is straight.
Teddy Zepeda not doing what you like in this situation, though. There's a shot to the body.
Exactly, Bob. You have a guy hurt. Don't throw everything to the head instinctively when he's hurt. Nature's going to take over. He's going to move his head. The body will stay there. Freeze his head by banging that belly.
Cassiani has eaten a couple of left hooks, and he is hurting here near the end of round number 2. Cannot be saved with a bell in any round. Looks like Cassiani will make it to the end of the second round. Not down, but hurt in round number 2. Left hooks from Ernesto Zepeda. The answer here in round 2.
He switched up a little, Zepeda. Had some luck early with the right hand. Showed he can do it with both hands. Missed. Came back with the left hook. The old-time trainers would have liked that. They always tell you, Bob, finish with the left hook.
So a very good round number 2 for Ernesto Zepeda. Now, Teddy, did you make that a 10-8 round or a 10-9 round?
I knew you were going to ask that question, partner, because it could have went either way. I made it 10-9. Very close to going 10-8.
I agree with you. Take a look at the numbers in round number 2. Zepeda landed 8 of 35 jabs. He landed 13 of 39 power shots. And he had Cassiani hurt.
Now the jab continues to be very important for Zepeda. Some people say, why? He's winning the fight. Because if he uses the jab, he will continue to take advantage of what he should take advantage. Range, height, that distance. And then he will make Cassiani have a reason to reach in with those wide punches. And then he will have opportunities with the other punches to maybe put Cassiani away. The man, in this case, Cassiani, has a tendency to throw wide. Give him a reason to. Use your jab on the outside. Make him desperate. Make him reach.
Teddy, is Zepeda not pressing the action enough? Seems very cautious.
I like him to at least use that jab more on the outside. Make things happen. In other words, if Cassiani just lays back, doesn't want to leave himself open, then Zepeda should start taking him apart off the jab, taking what's given to him. If Cassiani gets desperate because of that jab in his face, starts reaching in, then Zepeda can start to close the show with the right hands.
Those guys have been knocked out twice in their careers.
You know, Bob, when you ask, is Zepeda doing enough? You could argue both cases right now. he could be doing more after having Cassiani in so much trouble last round. But then again, he wants Zepeda to use his height.
Good defense there by Zepeda. He knew that left hook was coming, and that right hand blocked it perfectly. It's a combination from Zepeda. Puts the hook to the body.
Right now, Cassiani is so defensive-minded, it might not be a bad idea for Zepeda to throw a little feint in there. Get Cassiani to move his head, then time him.
Left hook to the chin. Zepeda doing a good job of placing his shots here, Teddy.
Not wasting anything, you're right. And making sure that he fights tall.
Ernesto Zepeda in the yellow trunks controlling this action through 3 rounds. Welcome back to Worley, Idaho. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas, Ernesto Zepeda, Rocky Cassiani underway round number 4 of the scheduled 10-round lightweight bout. Cassiani was hurt, although not down, in round number 2. Take a look at the punch numbers through 3 rounds. And you see the huge edge for Zepeda. So far in the fight, he has landed 22 jabs, trying to use his height.
Maybe this will be a little bit of a better round for Cassiani. I see him starting it with something new, something that I think is the right thing, the jab. You're with the taller man doesn't mean that you have to let him out jab you. That's part of his advantage when you don't use your jab. Then he can spot you coming in, control the range, do what he wants. Starting this round, Cassiani has been using the jab.
Coming into this round, Teddy, he had only landed 7 jabs in the fight.
It's important for the short man to use that jab. We know how important it is for the taller man. The shorter man can take that jab away from the taller man, can get inside and do that.
A nice uppercut to the chest.
I have a funny feeling this might be a better round for Cassiani. Getting where he wants to get. In close with the taller man.
There he lands a left hand after missing with a couple of uppercuts. I still think Zepeda might catch him, Teddy, inside with a straighter punch.
He's looking to counter off a block. No doubt about it, Bob. Zepeda's looking for spots right now.
Really, none of those punches landed.
You know what? You can notice when they get a little separation again. Watch how Zepeda will look to block the uppercut by dropping either hand to block it. That could be a problem. You go to drop your hand to block the uppercut, the man can come up top.
Zepeda again gets the better of that exchange. Eddie, Zepeda's not bad defensively.
No, he's not. He showed that 20 seconds ago. Not only withstanding the barrage offensively from Cassiani, but really negating it. Usually when a guy like Zepeda fights the way he does defensively for a large portion of the round, allowing Cassiani to control the flow a little bit, but Zepeda was looking to block, looking for spots. Usually he'll come on late in the round. They figured that Cassiani tied himself out a little bit, and then he'll look to let something go late.
Cassiani was holding the ropes, and he gets warned for that. Cassiani, the aggressor in this round.
Talk about defense. Here's a nice illustration of defense, and this is also a good illustration of why he can get a controversial decision. Who do you give this round to? All the punching by Cassiani, but you can see nothing landing.
Well, Cassiani was the aggressor in that round, throwing 20 more punches. All of his connects were power shots in that round. Take a look at the punches landed per round. You see Zepeda with the edge, obviously. Cassiani was hurt in the second round, weathered the storm. Zepeda goes to the body and the head. Cassiani did block the shot to the head. Combination got in there for Zepeda.
Zepeda being very accurate, picking his spots like a laser beam right now.
Good right cross from Zepeda.
When there's distance, look for Zepeda to have success, have some fun.
Cassiani goes straight back too when he gets in trouble.
Two reasons why Zepeda has success when there's distance. One, he's taller. He can get his punches off at a further range like that shows than Cassiani can. He gets good vision. Also, when he's longer, when he's farther away, he forces the shorter Cassiani to do that. Throw wide punches. And that can create offense.
39-37, Zepeda has the same card. In the last round, Cassiani used his jab somewhat effectively just to create some space for himself. So far in the fight, he's only landed 7 jabs, though, through 4 rounds.
Another thing to look for later on in the fight. Cassiani has to work a little harder to get things done, has to get closer, has to take a little bit more than Zepeda does. Cassiani has to take the chances to have success. Zepeda doesn't have to do that. He can lay back and allow the shorter Cassiani like that to miss and then do that. Counter.
Punch the right hand to the chin of Cassiani.
Hold him around the head, okay? Don't hold him. Okay? Let's go.
It's a funny thing. Just there, you saw it. Cassiani, the shorter man, needs to be working inside. He did the tying up. If he's going to have success, he better punch on the inside.
Good 5th round for Ernesto Zepeda. Okay. Welcome back to the Coeur d'Alene Casino in Worley, Idaho. Glad you can join us for Friday Night Fights presented by Miller High Life. Bob Papa along with Teddy Atlas. Round number 6 underway. Ernesto Zepeda in the yellow. Rocky Cassiani in the white. Cassiani was hurt in the 2nd round. Weathered the storm. Zepeda, though, has controlled this fight, keeping it on the outside. In the last 2 rounds, Cassiani is 0 for 29 with his jab. Zepeda is 14 of 52 with his jab over the last 2 rounds.
And some more bad news, at least I believe, for Cassiani. The shorter man has to be inside if he's going to be successful. Well, guess what? He's the smaller man throughout his career. Been a featherweight his whole career, 128 pounds in the last 17 times. Well, Zepeda has been a junior lightweight his whole career. 130 pounds and over 33 times. Uphill climb, it would appear, for Cassiani. He will have to land something, I believe, when Zepeda's stepping out, Bob. When Zepeda's standing straight up, tall maybe, when he shouldn't be, in that neutral zone. But right now, it's not happening. Zepeda picking his spots nice. Sharp punches, getting out before Cassiani can return.
Straighter punches.
They usually have an advantage, the straighter punches.
Zepeda knows those wide punches are coming, and he gets his defense set.
And he knows when they're coming. Zepeda does. He knows they're coming after he finishes. So Cassiani, probably to land something, is going to have to gamble. He's going to have to punch in the mid of Zepeda's combinations. He's going to have to throw while Zepeda's throwing.
Nice combination, sends down Cassiani.
Cassiani was looking to throw those wide punches, and those nice short laser beams of Zepeda's beating him to the mark.
First knockdown of the fight. Cassiani was hurt in the 2nd round. Cassiani said someone will win by knockout. He felt he would win, but right now Zepeda has the edge. Cassiani's down. Cassiani's out here in the 6th round with 28 seconds to go.
Good job by Zepeda.
25th knockout for Ernesto Zepeda. 30th win in 37 pro bouts for the 24-year-old from Mazatlan, Mexico.
Nice surgeon-like performance with those nice straight punches in between anything wide with the shorter Cassiani.
So Ernesto Zepeda stops Rocky Cassiani. 2:34 of round 6. Cassiani was down twice in the round, and the straighter punches always seem to be the guy that winds up on the winning end. Let's take a look at the first knockdown, Teddy. Good combination.
Little push there in between those punches. And there you see Zepeda just doing the same old stuff. Getting the hands moving on a Cassiani who was on unsteady legs. Nothing fancy, just getting it done. Zepeda, not bad. Young fighter, 24 years old. Turned pro young at 19. Shows some promise here.
So Ernesto Zepeda gets his 5th win in a row, all by way of knockout, as he stops Rocky Cassiani at 2:34 of round number 6. Impressive win for Zepeda. Here's Brian and Max.
Ladies and gentlemen, they call him the baby face assassin. Introducing Francisco Panchito Bojado.
I feel like a conductor on a huge freight train that has a lot of weight, and no matter how much I apply the brakes, you just feel this power and the train keeps just going.
I can't remember a guy that I've seen with 8 fights who has looked as good each time out and as impressive with the knocking out of each fighter.
I feel that I'm a natural fighter. I have a natural ability. I was born with it. So I think that's how I get the confidence. And I'm always saying, you know, thanks to the Lord for giving me this gift, and I'm always praying for him. And I guess that's why I have the confidence, because I know God is right here. I'm taking care of me and the people around me. I felt great. I was very confident. I was concentrated on what I wanted to do, which I was very sure that I was going to be the gold medal. As soon as they gave that decision, it was just, it hurt. I didn't know what to do. It took me a while to get over the loss. I'm not going to say I got cheated. I'm not going to say that, because, I mean, if I lost, I lost, and that's it. That's it. That's all you got to say.
He was disappointed. He really went believing that he was going to win a gold medal. But he understands the politics of the Olympics. And like I told Jeff Lacey off the United States Olympic team, and Rocky Juarez, all of them, you have to go forward. It's a new day. And Panchito was only 17, but mentally he's years ahead of 17 years old.
If I keep training and keep doing what I keep doing, and I know God's right behind me just taking care of me, then I'm going to catch everybody by surprise. And I know I'm confident. I know what I have and my ability. And, you know, only God's going to know how far I'm going to go. But to now, I'm just going to keep going forward.
You'll see a lot of fighters, whether they're at this stage or the 10-round level, who can easily fly off the handle if somebody tries to intimidate them at the weigh-in or certainly before the fight and get under their skin. But for him to keep his composure when he gets fired up enough after what that kid did to him when they touched the scales and when they came out for the instructions, just shows that he's mature beyond his age right now.
I just want to do something, and I just want to reach my goals, which is become, of course, a title holder, a champion, and just little by little I'll get where I want to be, which is history, one of the greatest, like the great Muhammad Ali.
The key again is Bajado's only 18 years old, and as long as we don't rush him and he doesn't rush himself, then everything will take care of itself because of his boxing.
I just see such a bright light for this youngster in and out of the ring that I don't think that there's anyone in front of him that can steal the spotlight. I think boxing may belong to Francisco Panchito Bojado.
Manuel Marquez was born in Mexico City. As a professional, 36 wins, only 2 losses, and 28 knockouts. He has taken on all types of competition in his career. One of his few missteps came against Freddie Norwood. At stake was the WBA championship. It took place in September of 1999 in the state of Nevada. Very patient fight, feeling out process. In round number 2, Norwood would strike first. Marquez would go down, but Marquez would battle back. Very patient, picking his spots, and the champion was down. When the judges' scores were tallied, though, Freddie Norwood would win a close, unanimous decision victory against Juan Manuel Marquez. Marquez is a man who likes to come forward. He's won 7 in a row, and in his last 5 bouts, he's won by way of knockout. He is ranked number 3 by the WBC and WBA, and he's ready to make his move on a title shot.
I am capable to fight any champion of the world, to demonstrate one more time that, like I've been demonstrating everybody, you know, that I can fight with any champion of the world.
Tonight he'll get 25-year-old Johnny Walker. He hails from Detroit, Michigan. In 21 professional bouts, he has 18 wins and 12 knockouts. He has won 8 in a row as well, although Johnny Walker has won against very limited competition. In fact, his last 5 opponents have a win percentage of 29%, but he feels strong tonight.
I must gain respect early, very early in the fight. I've got to gain respect early, set the tone, control the pace, control the fight. I cannot lose control. Good defense, good jab. It's all mine.
While Walker hopes to gain respect, Marquez is thinking about a title shot. So is Marquez a bit overconfident tonight? We asked him.
Even Johnny Walker, even if he's 2-3 wins and 20 losses, it still is a dangerous fighter. I don't underestimate anybody.
He's looking past Johnny Walker Black, and I'm here to pull off this upset. I feel like he's gonna come out there and box pretty usual as he does, the same way he always does. Good jab, good right hand, good uppercuts. But I feel he's gonna run into something, and I don't think he's mentally prepared for me for this fight like he should have, and for that reason, he won't win it.
Walker, 126.5 pounds, 18-3, 12 knockout victories. His last 5 opponents, a winning percentage, though, of only 29%. Only one guy, Polibio Maldonado, was over 500. He was 3-1. He likes to give his opponents a bottle of Johnny Walker Black at the weigh-in. Says it's a sign of respect for my opposition. And that's the man he gave it to, Juan Manuel Marquez. He's won 7 in a row, 28 years of age, 126 pounds, 36-2, 28 knockouts. 5 consecutive knockout wins. Good one against Sean Fletcher. His last 5 opponents, a win percentage of 78%. He also has wins against Enrique Jupiter, Darryl Pinkney, Agapito Sanchez, and Julian Wheeler. Jerry Armstrong, our referee here at the Freddie Norwood. The thing he learned is you have to throw more punches, and he says he will be busier tonight. Now we are underway. Walker in the black trunks, Marquez in the purple. Walker has 6 first-round knockouts. He has not been exceptionally busy. This is his 3rd fight of 2001. Had only 2 bouts last year, 2 in 99, 2 in 98, and 2 in 97. He says he was with Don King, and he could not get fights and get his career moved along.
This is a show-me fight. And I was just going to say, it's to show me if Walker belongs in this class. I don't know if he does. And right now, it doesn't look like he does.
He had never been knocked out, but he had never been in against a guy like Marquez, who has 3 first-round knockouts.
Come on to me. Come to me. Okay,
Marquez, he's beaten 3 former world champs, fought for a WBA world title.
Oh, what a right hand to start it.
Different class. Different class.
Forget it. It's over. Jerry Armstrong is going to stop it right there. Oh, man.
What a scintillating, devastating performance by a talented Juan Marquez.
He is not ranked 3rd in the world, by the WBC and WBA for nothing.
And number 11 by the IBF.
What a performance. Johnny Walker doesn't know what hit him. 56 seconds of round one.
Different level of talent.
Marquez just walked over to check on Walker.
Walker was talking about getting to the later rounds, showing something later. The problem was, and could have been, is sometimes when you think that way, you forget about the early rounds.
And I don't know if Walker knows that he's in the state of Idaho right now. He was sent to Mars. They will take their time with him. Let him gather himself in stages. Down twice within the first minute. And what a combination that ended it. Well, we talked about Marquez, Teddy, against the better competition. We talked about Walker. His last 5 opponents, a winning percentage of 29%. Only one guy with a winning record, if you can count 3-1 as a winning record, but 11-20, 3-4, 2-28, 8-10. And now he's going in against a guy like Marquez, and we saw the difference.
Yes, we did. In a devastating, startling fashion.
Let's take a look at the first knockdown. Marquez landed 3 or 4 power shots in this fight. A left and a right. Down went Walker.
Caught Walker cold. Standing there, not reacting to Marquez closing the gap. The taller Marquez closing the gap. You must react when a man starts to close ground.
Gonna look at that first knockdown again.
Again, the taller Marquez was allowed to walk in, and it looked like Walker was hypnotized a little bit. Little frozen.
Now let's look at the end of the fight. This is unbelievable.
The very calm, experienced Marquez. Little feint with the left hand, very subtle. Little shoulder feint down with the left hand, and a right hand straight as an arrow. First punch with the left hook. What did he finish the show with? The right hand. That is an experienced, accomplished fighter.
Johnny Walker is still gathering himself, and the doctors will take a close look. They'll take as much time as they feel is necessary, and rightfully so, as Walker gets blasted here in the first round. 56 seconds by that man, Juan Manuel Marquez. And when you just take a look at the level of competition, the activity, and so on and so forth, something we brought up when we showed the last 5 opponents for Walker, I mentioned a winning percentage of 29%. That's not the way you go into it against Juan Manuel Marquez. Marquez again checking on Walker.
Now this was a case, as you pointed out, with the record, the difference of the records, stepping from the wading pool to the ocean.
We asked Walker about it. He said, no, those guys were better than their records would indicate. I always scoff at that. When you're fighting guys that are 2-28, 11-20, 8-10, and you're stepping up against a guy ranked in the top 5 in the world. And we got to look at it once again. Right hand ends it for Juan Manuel Marquez. 56 seconds of round number 1. He makes a statement tonight against Johnny Walker. Walker is up. Walker is now walking around in the ring. But that's how it ended, with Juan Manuel Marquez finishing the deal in this first round with a very impressive performance. Marquez applauding Walker walking around. 29th career stoppage, 37th win. He's in line for a title shot with his ranking. We'll check in with Brian and Max.
Wow.